right, I just started the recording here. So uh, I'm we have this equation, x equals 4 is how we read that equation right there if we read it out loud. So if we're going to read this one out loud, the way we would write it down in words is x is less than 3. X is less than 3. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to pause the video right here. All right, so you're taking notes and I'm writing them down here. And the first example, let's do 2x. I don't want to do red. 2x plus 5 plus 9x is less than 49. All right, so that's what we're going to do first. And when we look at a problem like that, I notice that the 2x and the 9x are on the same side of the inequality, so I can just combine those. So when I combine those, I get 11x plus 5 is less than 49. Now, my whole goal, just like with solving equations, is to get my x term by itself on one side. So in order to do that, I need to undo this operation, adding 5. The inverse of adding is subtracting. So I subtract 5 from each side, and I get 11x. This makes a 0. So 11x is less than 44. Now I have 11 times x, and so I have to divide by 11 because that's the inverse of multiplication, and I get x is less than 4. So that is my inequality, and now I need to graph it. So when I graph an inequality, I just do something as simple as possible. Whatever the number is, the 4, I put that right in the middle, 4. And then I say, well, since it's just an inequality, there's no equals there, it's got to be an open circle. And now I'm going to do a test point. So my test point is going to be, I'm going to pick 0. I almost always pick 0. So test point is 0 less than 4. So I just plugged in 0 for the x. And 0 is less than 4. So 0 is over here. So that means that 0 has to be shaded. So we shade this direction because it came out to be true when we did the test. So I plugged 0 in. It came out to be true. So we have to shade in that direction. Any questions on that? Okay, we're going to do another one here. And it doesn't really matter what the variable, the letter is that we use. So I'm going to use here 3y minus 5y is greater than or equal to 16. So make sure you're taking notes here with me. So you should have written that down. Now here, these two can be combined. They're both y terms. So 3y minus 5y is negative 2y. It's greater than or equal to 16. Now in this one, I'm multiplying negative 2 times y. To undo the operation of multiplication, I have to do division. So I divide by negative 2. Now this is the one big difference, and the thing you need to remember. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, here we're dividing by a negative number, on both sides, whenever you do that, you have to flip the sign. So now we're going to have y is less than or equal to negative 8. That is absolutely necessary. Okay? Questions on that before I move on? Okay, so I'm going to make my number line, and it's a super simple number line. I just put -8 in the center. And then I'm going to use, again, the test point. The test point I'm going to use is 0. 0 is less than or equal to -8. You can always use the test point of 0 as long as this other number here isn't 0. If that number is 0, then you can't use 0 as a test point. Okay. So here, 0 is over here. And the question is 0 less than or equal to -8? No, that's not true. And I'm going to write no. Here I could have written yes. So because 0 is not less than or equal to -8, we can't shade that way, because if we did, we would be saying that this test point passed, but it did not. So we're going to shade the other direction. Oh, but we need a solid circle. Because this is less than or equal to, it's a solid circle. And then we shade that way, like that. Questions on that one? All right. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to give you a chance to practice one all on your own, and then we'll go over it. Okay, so this one is going to be 4h minus 8 is greater than, that looks like a 7 almost, is greater than 5h minus 2. And you can move your h terms to either side. I could get all my h terms over there, or I can get them all over there. It doesn't matter. I am going to subtract 5h here. Whoops, 5h, not x, 5h. And the reason why I wanted to subtract 5h is so I get a -1h, just to remind us about flipping. I wanted to remind us about that. So here I'm going to, do you have a question? What's up? Let's do it that way since you're asking. I'll do it that way. So when we subtract 4h, no, because we are not multiplying or dividing a negative. Here we're just subtracting. So we get -8 is greater than 1h minus 2. Now we add 2 to both sides to get our h term by itself, and we get -6 is greater than h. All right, so now I'm going to do a test point. My test point is going to be 0, so I have -6 is greater than 0. And is that true? -6 is greater than 0? No. So when I go to graph my, make my graph, I have -6 right here in the middle. There's no equal sign, so it's an open circle. And then 0 is over here to the right. 0 is always bigger than negative numbers. Since our test point did not come out to be true, we have to shade the other direction. And I want to bring your attention to something here that you may have noticed or may not have noticed. On these two, my variable is on the left. And my arrow faces the same direction as my inequality. When your variable is on the left, your variable and inequality will go in the same direction. On this one, my variable is on the right, and my arrow faces the opposite direction as my inequality. If you want to always put your inequality, make it so that it'll match up, you can just rewrite from this step right here. You could rewrite this as, whoops, h, flip the sign, is less than -6. And now because my variable's on the left, my inequality and my arrow face the same direction. Questions there? I'm going to give you 2 practice problems here. And in the video, you should pause the video after I write these and give them a try. And then I'll go over them in just a moment. I'm not going to actually have a bunch of time because I took too long in class today. I'm sorry. All right, so there are your two inequalities. And I'm going to pause here, pause the video, and let you have a chance to work on them. All right, hopefully those answers make sense to you, and you have a great day.